Three, two, one. What I do, baby? Welcome everybody to another podcast with yours truly, Tim. I know we're gonna keep the energy high because we're not allowed to go outside. That's right, we're stuck. This is coronavirus going on, COVID-19. Not really sure how you pronounce that, but it does exist. So please wash your hands as if you've never done that before. Make sure you don't hug people. I grew up in a family that doesn't do it that often, so that's not a problem on that side. What else? I think that's all the public service announcements. So, without further ado, just want to say thank you for tuning in, watching, listening, subscribing on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and all of that. Thank you so much for giving me your time and energy so that I can talk about sports and we could have a conversation about this where it's not just one sport. We talk about different various things, different sports, but not just on the field but off the field. And as this podcast, the idea of it is bench players talking about sports where they don't necessarily participate in, but they are avid lovers of the sport. I don't think nobody should say avid and sports at the same time. Maybe, I don't know. I'm just sitting here on a couch talking about sports. So I don't know how to jump into this, but I feel like I should, just for the sake of keeping everyone's sanity. As what is it, mid-March 2020, we've been threatened with a lot of things, such as World War III, and now we have this COVID-19. I feel like that's a much better name than coronavirus. It has a bad rap for the beer, but yeah, we third, what is it? It's March 16th right now. Well, whenever you're listening to it, it's gonna be later, but for now, all of the major sports have been canceled. So I'm pretty sure, if you're just as passionate, sports follower, who says that, But if you follow on Instagram or on social media or on there like the ESPN and stuff, it's been, different major leagues or major sports have declared that they're either suspending or postponing their games. So I have my notes with me, so I just want to make sure that I'm giving you the exact information that has been posted on publicly to the media and all of that. So for now, we have NCAA, so we have March Madness, and we are in March. Right now, they have announced that the Division I men's and women's 2020 basketball tournaments have been canceled because of the coronavirus and its evolving threat to public health. So it has been canceled. Not postponed or it's going to be back, but it's been officially canceled where I like watching basketball and I like March Madness because you can get I'm the analytics guy, so I enjoy seeing different statistics about sports, and so I feel like March Madness has been something that I've been following because of how things move in the bracket and all of that. And my friend, who's subsequently named Tim, because I'm only friends with people whose name is Tim. That's right, I'm that selfish. But we've been talking about how NCAA, how college basketball is going to be looking like, and last 2 years, like 2-3 years, we have seen such a tremendous growth in viewership, as well as it might sound weird, but the social media has been picking up NCAA more often, or more often, I would say, not more frequently, because okay, so basically, how do I say? Okay, so here's an example of what I mean, because I'm stuttering and I want you to understand exactly what I mean. So if an actor shoots a movie, right? And let's say Kevin Hart, because he's like one of the top dogs right now. So if he shoots a movie and it takes him 6 months, he would spend the next 6 months promoting that movie, right? So a lot of people would hear about the movie because of his promotion, not because of the trailer or something like that. So they would see him and be like, oh, Kevin Hart, what's up? What's good? What are you up to right now? He's like, actually, I have a movie coming out. And they're like, oh, No way. Let me watch it. So I feel like NCAA, that's been happening for the past 5 years, where more and more people were involved in watching March Madness, not from the U.S. point of view, because if you're in the U.S., like it's a part of your culture, so everybody knows what March Madness. But as a European, you get to understand, like, oh snap, this is not just about the NFL for 17 weeks, or you got, NBA, you got NHL, not those major things that everybody's paying attention, but you get to, like, oh, March Madness is actually pretty dope. Like, and it's only for like a whole month. So you get to like watch different games, and it's kind of tough to watch because, again, like all these games are like super late, which, by the way, I feel like that's what NCAA has been taking advantage of. Not the league, I think it's the league, right? Not the organization itself, right? But it's the players. So, like, for instance, just making sure my mic works. That's something that's interesting that the NCAA has been famous for, is to promote the players, right? Let me walk you through that statement, right? So if you, especially with like Instagram, I don't know why, but Instagram has been such a popular, popular platform for players to be used for the sake of their publicity, right? For their brand. Like Zion Williamson, right? He doesn't post that much, but he's the guy that, like, you can watch his highlights on YouTube, but you can follow him on Instagram and see what he does day-to-day basis, right? So the revenue and all of that. But here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. If you're a basketball player in the States and you are a part of NCAA and you go to like Duke, and that's other schools that I know. You go to Duke, you go to Virginia Tech, you got like those big schools, right? I say big schools because these are the first ones that come to my mind, and I'm European, so like if your fame got to this part of the world, you're famous, right? And so those players will be playing basketball, they will be posting. A lot of people will be following them because of their charisma and then all of that. And then whenever they go into NBA, everybody's like, oh snap, I've never been a fan of that team, but now because my favorite player is there, I'm gonna follow that team. And I feel like that's the whole reason why I became a Dallas Maverick fan, is because of like Dirk Nowitzki. Like that guy has been, Steve Nash has been also, but that's a different thing. But Dirk Nowitzki has been like, oh man, no way, like this German dude is playing in NBA and he's actually like super cool. And 2011 happened, I'm like, oh my gosh, So I feel like that's what has been happening to NCAA for the past 2-3 years, at least what I've been noticing. But then all of a sudden, like, we don't have this year. So I feel like maybe with this whole virus situation, that could happen to NBA this year, where obviously there's viewership, obviously there's a lot of things happening with brands and promotions, and Papa John, I think Papa John is like trying to like be like the main sponsor or something like that. But anyway, they have a bunch of other sponsors, but I feel like not having March Madness might affect the highlights of players. Meaning, like, they've played from, when is it, from September or from September until right now, but because they don't have sports right now for them, that prevents them from, I guess, like, being on the spotlight for NBA. And again, as a European, I realize that Zion Williamson is going to be pretty huge, because I was like, March Madness, I've only like heard people talk about him and like a couple other dudes, and that's it. So I'm like, oh snap, this is serious. So I think March Madness has become a symbol of like who's going to be a good player, who's not, because they have this huge platform where they're able to provide their highlights. And with that being said, NBA not just postponed. Let me read this for you. NBA has officially suspended the season and will use the hiatus to determine next steps moving forward. Um, that when I heard the NBA is suspended, I obviously, Lakers is in the playoff bracket, in the playoff conversation, in the for the first time ever since like 2003, I think. No, no, no. That's such a lie. I'm so sorry. Not 2003. That makes no sense. Is it 2013? Oh God, I'm. I would love to have somebody that I can talk to about basketball here. But I think that it's a problem for NBA to have this virus going on and for games to be stopped. Because first of all, they're gonna lose money and all that. That's obviously right. And you can hear Mark Cuban actually. There's a really good interview with it. He talks. I'm just gonna briefly tell you because I don't know. If I were you, I would never watch it. I would just summarize it for me, that kind of thing. So Mark Cuban said that, of course, it's a sad thing. It's a necessary thing to do, but at the same time, it's not just about the players playing and the audience, the people to come into the you have all those individuals who have to work in the stadium. Um, if there are no games, like you still have to pay people money, and if there are no games, there's no revenue. If there's no revenue, it's going to be very tough to help pay for the staff and different cleaning people. And so I think was it Kevin Love? He donated like $100,000 something for March to pay for everybody in Cavaliers, the staff and members and all that. So like their what is it? Payment, not payment, salary. Oh my God, I'm a retard. Salary, as well as Zion Williamson. He donated like 1 million or something. Like no, I can remember. I don't want to be like throwing out that number, but the kid is 19 and he's like, yeah, I want to jump on that train of helping people in NOLA. So I'm excited to see how NBA players respond. At the same time, how not the managers, but how the owners respond to this whole situation. Because obviously, it's a lot easier to say like, "Oh, I'm sorry, no games, no revenue. I can't give you salary because there's no money." But at the same time, it's like I get it. This is a time where humanity can come together and understand that this is a problem, but we have to take care of each other. And I feel like Mark Cuban is such a perfect example for that. I've been a Mark Cuban fan for too long, so I'm so biased. But I'm sure other owners are doing it without a press, or people breathing down their necks to like convince them like, oh, do this for publicity. No. Like I'm pretty sure other owners are doing it. It's just funny to see how Mark Cuban automatically like responds with like, yeah, of course, no games, but like we have to take care of it. But I'm curious how NBA is gonna respond because this statement right from their Instagram stuff. They said not Instagram, but like their official. Says that they're gonna take the hiatus to determine next steps moving forward, which means I don't know if they're gonna be taking all of the records, like the who's on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 right now, and maybe they can move the league into the summer. I don't think they're gonna do that. I don't think they're gonna be moving to the summer. Maybe sometime like June is summer, I guess. So technically, yeah. But I think it might happen they might have like more games, like another 10 games or something like that to like have people fight for the spot. But at the same time, I think that they're gonna be because instead of 82 games, maybe it's going to be like 62 or something. I don't know. But then they will have the playoffs and everything. Because playoffs begin mid-April or something like that. So it's going to be interesting. I think that this whole virus situation is going to be for the next couple of weeks. In the beginning of April, everybody's going to like, okay, we're good. We can come back. Where here's the thing, I'm just gonna go down the list of everything that's been like postponed or canceled. So NHL, the hockey has suspended its season due to the rapid spread of coronavirus, for hopes to resume in the future. Obviously, I think that for the playoffs they're gonna come back. MLB is baseball is expected to suspend baseball operations indefinitely later this week, which means they only started recently, so like exaggerating all of that is definitely a part of, maybe I don't know. I think something big is going to happen in sports this year, where a lot of changes are gonna come in due to like how the season is played, because I feel like a lot of sports are they need to spice things up a little bit. That's such a broad and rude statement towards sports and players, but hear me out. I feel like some sports need to be spiced up so that like average viewers are able to enjoy it. As a European, it's so tough for me to follow up with baseball. Like I somewhat understand, and if there's a friend that knows everything, I will ask them. But at the same time, like you won't catch me watching baseball game on TV. Like unless like I'm forced to, I'm not gonna do it. I'd rather read the analytics, what happened, the statistics, and all that. But you know, I think that that's going to be a perfect opportunity for sports to understand, like, okay, maybe we should adjust certain things. So MLS is suspending its season until further notice because of the coronavirus. XFL, which is a new thing. Okay. XFL had one season 2001. Then they didn't have anything going on until 2019, 2020. Because they're like, okay, if this is our year, we have to do it. And the owner of XFL is the same owner as a WWE. So they're like, they wanted to have that shock value and for people to watch it and all of that. And then they're like, oh, we're like, somebody donated $500 million to make sure the XFL will exist, which obviously they invested in the sports and it's going to come back. So it's not a problem. But it's just like, it's so funny, like they spend so much time rethinking and re-engineering how like it's going to be a perfect situation, and it has been for the past 3 weeks. Like I've I was following up with different players and how things are going on, and how like you can actually find out, like figure out what's going on in the field, like right there at that moment, like because they interview like the players and the coaches and all of that, and after they play, somebody can come up to them and be like, yeah, what the crap, what did you do in the play, players or the coaches that were gonna answer. But I feel like it's just sad that XFL has to cancel so many games. So, but we'll see. Maybe they're gonna come back, and I don't know. I really hope XFL is gonna exist next year. And I think that's it. Another thing is NFL has been talking about extending their season to 17 week play instead of 16, because you would have one bye week. So they're thinking of having 18 week season, or 17. I'd like to read up more on that, because that's just been like super fresh. The information just got out and they voted on it like Friday or Saturday or something like that. But they haven't been specific on how everything's going to turn out to be, because before it's always been speculation, and right now a lot of players voted, a lot of managers and owners voted on that, and so the commissioner is they're still preparing the game plan of how things are going to be. So I'll keep you up to date on that. Again, like I don't want to be too much of information that I'm not really sure about, so I really want to keep everything on point. So if I don't know it, forgive me, but I'd rather shut up and prepare that information for next time. So, but that's it. The media has to stop blowing things out of proportion, but at the same time, we're got to be careful. Amazon still works, so you shouldn't be worried. I think that a lot of things have been blown up, the idea of how things are handled and what should you do. Of course, Corona, and isolate yourself, wash your hands and all that. But at the same time, like I'm curious how sports is gonna react to all of these news. Because first of all, three things, right? Probably gonna name like five, but three. First thing is that I'm curious how the sports will help with the issue, how they're going to respond. So not just the players, but the owners especially, right? How they're going to react to this, the salaries, as we talked before, the idea of this hiatus, not being there. There you go, not being there. So I think I'm curious to see how things are going to be. Second one is I'm curious the adjustments they're going to make to their own routine, because everything has been happening in the same pattern for so long, and we for some reason we humanized the playoffs so well because of how the Warriors have been in the playoffs, and the Cavaliers and LeBron. I'm sorry, not the Cavaliers. I mean, it's LeBron James. Whatever LeBron James, the team that he's on the team on, they were in the playoffs. I don't know how to be polite about that, but it is what it is. Like, it would be the Warriors versus LeBron James's team. That's it. I'm sorry, but that's it. And so I don't know. I'm just really curious how this NBA is special, because is the second most viewed sports right now. After NFL, of course. And so NBA becomes not just about streaming, not just about watching games, but it's about the brands, the popularity. And so I feel like NBA is slowly. Now, I don't think they're able to get the number one spot. It's gonna take them a while, but what they do, instead of you following the teams, you follow the players, and whichever your favorite player, he's gonna go on that team, you're gonna be following that team as well. And so that's been Kyrie Irving for me, honestly. He's been going to different teams, and I was like following up. That's why I became a Celtics fan, is because, like, oh my gosh, it's interesting. But again, like, Mavericks till I die. So yeah, I'm just curious how sports will react to that. Another thing is, I'm curious what it's going to do to the overall dynamics of, I don't want to say humanity, but like, I want to see how people will react without having these major events happening in their lives. Obviously we have the Olympics happening actually, hold on, before I go into that, I actually want to read a New York Times article that was written 5 days ago by this guy Victor Mather, and he was talking about like different sports being canceled and their reactions, and like, as of the Thursday, how things are going to be. He said the NCAA said that in men's and women's basketball tournaments will be played without fans, so there's a possibility of them playing without fans. Obviously, the move allows the games to go on, largely satisfying fans who plan to watch on television, but threatening the lively atmosphere of the game, which, bullcrap. I don't, like, obviously, like, you getting hyped up because somebody's screaming your name, like 10, 20,000 people are screaming your name, right? Something like that. I don't know. What is it? 8,000? I don't know what's the basketball auditorium, but I think the games could be translated, but at the same time, you're afraid that the players won't play because, having an audience is part of the charm, So I think, I don't know. All I'm saying is that let's watch how the sports are gonna react, right? So basketball, on a hiatus, right? Tennis, the Miami Open. One of the top tennis tournaments in the country, which is true. I'm really excited about it, but was canceled on Thursday at the city's mayor announced a suspension of large events, including a NASCAR race and major events. So NASCAR, I think it's February. Anyway, NASCAR race and major events in American Airline area, the home of the NBA Miami Heat. The Miami Open was scheduled to run March 23rd to April 5th, with top players including Serena Williams, Novak Djokovic, and Australian Open Championship Sophia Kenin, which, by the way, she is an amazing player. She won. She won Australia. Yeah. She won earlier. It was beginning of February, I think. Yeah. End of January, beginning of February. And cancellation comes after the BNP pair. Anyway, so a lot of things are going to be canceled. Soccer, obviously, across Europe and other parts of the world, are being played without spectators or postponed to help prevent the spread of the virus. So you either have the game but no crowd, or you don't have the game, which I think, with all due respect, I feel like we as people, we're always drawn to the money part. So I think that whatever makes more money, that's what they're going to do. Forgive me for being blunt, but I think that's what it's going to happen. Like, it's the money sport, So, especially NBA being rigged. I guarantee you, NBA is still rigged. That whatever happens, they're going to be doing. They're gonna be doing themselves a favor by making sure that they get as much money as possible. Olympics, though, on the other hand, though, uh, they say it's gonna be canceled, but we'll be talking about it in the next podcast because I'm still preparing some articles that I want to read for you guys. But um, Olympics, it's not going to be canceled. No official thing has been said, a statement. But some countries are begging to cancel Olympics, which, yeah, it's not going to happen, but, good try. I love Olympics, so if you're going to cancel Olympics, I swear. The last time Olympics was canceled was because of World War II. So, choose wisely. I just, anyway. So, Olympics is going to be in end of July 24th until August 9th. So, yeah, Anyway, so rugby, baseball, running, the New York City Half Marathon. Whoa, actually, that's something I would be interested in doing. The New York City Half Marathon scheduled for Sunday has been canceled. The Paris Marathon has been delayed from April to October. Actually, marathon. I don't run marathons. Maybe like half marathons, yeah. The Barcelona, the Barcelona Marathon has also been postponed until October. The Rome Marathon on March 29th has been canceled. So everything that's happening in March has been canceled. Who knows? I'm pretty sure in April everything's going to be back to normal, but everything has been canceled. Winter sports, the World Figure Skating Championship in Montreal to run March 18th to 22nd has been canceled. Auto racing, blah, blah, blah. Teams, actually. The McLaren team pulled out of the Formula One season opener in Australia later this month after a team member tested positive. So, that's kind of sad. But, anyway. That's something, yeah, that's the world we live in. Honestly, 2020 has not been good to us, but man, you gotta roll with the punches. I feel like at the end of the day, on behalf of, like, as if I put myself in the player's shoes, I think that I want to be as healthy as possible because, it's my livelihood. Like, I'm betting on me, So I want to be healthy. I want to make sure that I'm safe and sound against the sickness. So I'm not gonna. If somebody's like, yeah, well, you have to come in and do this, or else we're not gonna pay you. Like, fine, that's cool. Don't pay me. I'm gonna be healthy. So I think that, as an owner, I respect the player's opinion, but at the same time, like, I want to, like, I think it's the reputation that owners have, and so they canceled it, as well as the whole world has been paused. Some, I guess, like, like right now in Ukraine, it's like, yeah, you can be outside and all of that. You can walk around. It's not a problem. Just make sure, the hygiene is a priority. And then you have the US where everybody's buying toilet paper and freaking out. But at the same time, I don't know. Honestly, that's the thing. What do you think? Let me know down in the comments below. No, let me know what you guys think. What do you think about the idea of, like, actually not having sports in your life? Does that affect you, or is this something that, like, did you ever think that this is gonna happen to your favorite sport, or did you ever think that, like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do? Because sometimes I feel like that with NFL, where we don't have a lot of things going on, and springtime or summer, not a lot of things going on, so we just wait until the fall. But we got basketball, we got NHL. I really enjoy watching basketball playoffs. But, like, if we don't have that, then what's gonna happen, So, I just want to give it into your hands and ask you, what do you think? Should we as people protest against that? Should we support the player's decision not to play? Should we do some kind of counterintuitive, I guess, it makes no sense. What I'm saying, should we do as bench player, fans, should we do some kind of promotion where we should encourage the players to go back and play and the league and everything, but at the same time be very cautious about this? I'm not really sure. I'm looking forward to seeing how everybody's gonna respond, because that's definitely something that, like, as a fan, I want to see. But I'm excited. I'm excited to see how things are gonna be. So, yeah, I'm curious. Let me know what you think. Well, that's been it. Thank you for tuning in. We got a lot of homework to do, a lot of things to process. But thank you so much for listening, subscribing, whatever, watching. Yeah, I really appreciate all 3.5 of you guys. So anyway, thanks. That's been it. Catch you in the next one. Also, never let me say that. Never let me say that. All right, bye.